Good morning, everyone. This is a Fox News alert. We have chaos on the campaign trail to report this morning as protesters clash with Donald Trump's supporters in Chicago.
I'm a youth. This is my first election year that I'm allowed to vote, and I wanted to make my voice heard. So if the city felt that Trump didn't reflect what they wanted, then so be it. Let the city speak.
You want to provoke people so they can cause a commotion? That's exactly what Trump protesters tend to.
This is not free speech. No, they're suppressing. They're suppressing free speech. They talk about wanting free speech. They're suppressing free speech right now.
It's funny how he's using tactics to try to provoke people. He's going in the middle of an anti-Trump gathering, and he's trying to provoke the crowd to get like a negative response from them.
Free speech is protected. Hate speech is not protected. Free speech, not hate speech.
Fox News.
Can you say something
Fox News.
why you're
Fox
here
News.
tonight?
I'm here because I'm proud to be a Chicagoan, because Chicago does not like Donald Trump and his ideas.
There you go. That was Chicago last night, and you're looking live this morning at Vandalia, Ohio, which is a suburb of Dayton, Ohio, right there at the crossroads of America. Route 70 and 75 merge. It's a Donald Trump rally where folks are lining up this morning to watch Mr. Trump arrive and give a speech. Meanwhile, we've got Mr. Trump joining us now live here on Fox and Friends in the wake of everything that happened last night in Chicago. Mr. Trump, nice to have you here on the show once again.
Thank you.
You know, some dust has been settling this morning, and some of your GOP rivals have spoken out, the likes of Governor Kasich and Senator Ted Cruz, saying the buck stops at the top, and that your campaign speeches, your rhetoric over the past few months has emboldened protests like this. What do you say to Senator Cruz and Governor Kasich this morning?
Well, they only wish they hit this chord. The people of this country are tired, and they're angry. They're angry at incompetent government. They're angry at deals like the Iran deal, where we give away $150 billion to a terrorist nation. They're angry that our military is being depleted and we can't even beat ISIS. They're angry at so many different levels, and they're angry at trade, and they're angry, maybe angriest of all, that our jobs are being sucked out of our country. They're being taken out like we're a bunch of babies, and they're being moved over to China and Japan and Mexico, which is becoming the new China, and nobody does anything about it. And they're angry at the fact that they haven't had a pay increase essentially in 12 years, the middle class. So there's a lot of anger. They're not angry people, but they're angry about the way our country is run.
Mr. Trump, though,
and Ted Cruz doesn't get it. And by the way, Kasich doesn't get it. Kasich spends all his time outside of Ohio campaigning to run for president, and he's got no victories whatsoever. He hasn't won anything.
Well, Mr. Trump, you know, I think you're speaking to your supporters who are angry about that. You're tapping into that anger. But then the anger from the protesters that were there, they weren't saying, give me a job or give me higher wages. They were saying, stop the hate speech, shut down Donald Trump. What do you say to that?
Well, let me just tell you, that was not a protest that was just happened to be a beautiful, lovely protest. That was totally organized by Move On, or one of these groups that are not good groups. These are not good groups for the country. All of the signs were professionally made. You could see that. Everybody came at one time. We had 25,000 people signed up. We had thousands of great people. These are amazing people, great people. We have great people at the rallies. And we had 25,000 people coming. And that's another thing with the people that I'm competing against. A guy like Kasich, nobody shows up to his rallies. Nobody goes. You look at Ted Cruz, nobody goes to his rallies. Nobody cares. So, you know, these are massive rallies. And actually, we've had very, very little, we've had virtually no, you know, if you think in terms of protesters, we've had so few protesters at these rallies compared to the size of the rallies themselves. We've had no injuries, no problems until yesterday when we had this one. And this one was a total setup, and it was organized by a group and professionally organized. And what they're really doing is they're shutting down the First Amendment. And I think I made a very wise decision. We've actually been given a lot of credit for it, because it would have been actually easier to go, and you would have had clashes, and people would have been very badly hurt or worse. So I decided to shut it down. And it's very unfair to the 25,000 people that were lining up to get in. It's very, very unfair.
For hours.
To that point, Mr. Trump, about what was the thought behind shutting the rally down, there are reports now that this enormous group of disruptors inside was planning to jump a barrier and rush the stage once you took the stage. Did you know about that? And does that
No,
concern
I didn't know about
you?
that. I didn't know about that. I wouldn't be surprised, but we have plenty of strength on our side. I remember when Bernie Sanders was taken over by two women, where they went up and they started screaming in his microphone while he was talking, and he just moved to the back and left, and that was the end of that. And I thought that was a great embarrassment. When I watched that, I said, that's never going to happen. One thing, we go down fighting, and that would never happen. So, if a thing like that, if an incident like that took place, I wouldn't be surprised, because this is a radical group of people. This is a bad group of people for the most part. A lot of people that were troublemakers. And I'll tell you what, and you have to understand that our rallies are massive, and they're very, very friendly. There's tremendous love in the room, tremendous love in the room. They just want to see, the theme is Make America Great Again. That's all they want. They want to make America great again. And who should dislike that? And who should be upset about that?
Well, the argument from the other side, you hear, again, Kasich, Senator Cruz, even heard from Hillary Clinton yesterday about the discontent at these rallies, saying Mr. Trump needs to come out at one of his next rallies and ask for calm, and it's got to start with you. Today in Ohio, do you plan to listen to Hillary Clinton?
Well, the problem with Kasich is that he's very weak on illegal immigration, and that's why I think he's going to lose Ohio. He's very weak on illegal immigration. He's very, very weak on trade. And, Ohio is only doing okay because of oil. They struck oil. He got lucky. He has the biggest budget increase in the whole United States, 35%. And now that oil is down, Ohio is going to have tremendous problems. And with the approval of TPP, if that ever gets approved, which he's in favor of, they're going to lose a lot of their industry, and a lot of their car industry is going to be gone. It's going to be totally taken away. So Ohio has to be careful, because they got lucky with hitting oil, unlike most states. I mean, they happen to be sitting on oil. And if it weren't for that, Ohio would be a total mess, because the budget has gone up more than any budget at all, any budget in the United States. So when they talk about discontent, they're only talking about it because they're very weak on illegal immigration. And I want to have strong borders, and we're going to have the wall. And people can come into the country, but they've got to come in legally. We want people to come into the country, but they have to go through a process, and we want them to come in legally.
You should be very proud of the enthusiasm that you've been able to spark among voters, and even bringing independents and crossovers and people who have never voted before. But it seems that enthusiasm has hit somewhat of a fever pitch. Are you concerned that there will be even more violence that could escalate even further than what we have seen, particularly when you have people like Bill Ayers there as one of the protesters last night? He tweeted out this morning, "We did it, we shut Trump down," something like that. You've got MoveOn.org praising the protesters and the disruptors for doing what they've done. Are you concerned it's going to get worse?
Well, it's interesting. I decided for security reasons, for safety reasons, not for myself. I never even thought of it. But I decided I don't want to see people hurt on either side. And it was very important to me. And I met with security, and I met with the law enforcement groups, who were terrific, by the way, fantastic. And we talked about it for 20 minutes, and I made a decision to shut it down. But the fact is that by shutting it down, we have gotten our word out 1,000 times more than if I was speaking to 15 or 20 or 25,000 people yesterday. I mean, we have gotten the word out to such a level. It's all over the world.
Right, but are you worried that there's going to be bloodshed? Are you worried that people are going to start really punching each other in the face, and it's going to be an all-out brawl rather than just like a scuffle here and there?
Well, I hope that doesn't happen. But at the same time, we have to be able to talk. We have to be able to assemble. These are very peaceful people. These are great people. These are people that work very hard and that have been really, in many cases, treated very unfairly by our government, which is being very stupidly run, incompetently run. And they're tired of paying high taxes and having the money go to Iran and having the money go all over the place, and nobody knows what's happening. And you look at the waste, fraud, and abuse in this country, and they're tired of it. They're really tired of it. The fact is that they have to be able to have First Amendment rights and free speech. And if they don't have First Amendment rights, well, that's a very important thing. That's certainly worth fighting for.
And, Mr. Trump, you have a look at the screen right now. There are a lot of people in Ohio for your rally that's going to be today, later on this morning. So, obviously, they were not frightened off by what happened last night. But a question about the events there in Chicago. That's President Obama's hometown. You know, last time that there was a possibility in the Midwest for some real discontent in Ferguson, and it looked like when the indictment, but nobody knew what was going to happen, he stepped out to the microphones at the White House and he urged people to stay home, to stay calm. He wasn't there last night. Do you think that he has a responsibility as the president from Chicago to come out and ask people to let you and your supporters exercise their First Amendment rights? Or do you think that his time has passed and he should just stay out of it?
President Obama is a great divider. That's what you're seeing here. President Obama has greatly divided this nation. There's division between black and white. There's division between economic groups. He has done a terrible job in terms of unifying our country. President Obama should have been and had the advantage of being African American, of really bringing the country together. And I thought that was what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was going to be a good president. You could never tell. But I could tell you one thing. I thought he was going to be a unifier. He's turned out to be a terrible unifier. He's turned out to be a divider. And a lot of what you saw last night was Obama.
And we are looking at this live picture. There are thousands of people on their way in. Are you guys going to change the way, the campaign going to change the way that tickets are given out? Or have you figured out how so many people that didn't like you were able to get into this arena last night?
Well, they barged in. I mean, they just came in. They would go in. It's very easy to get in. And we had thousands of people that weren't able to get in because they barged in. And, you know, frankly, it's a little bit difficult for police. I'm the biggest fan of the police, but the police today are so afraid that they're going to be criticized. They're so afraid to, you know, if a protester gets up and starts swinging, and, you know, a lot of these protesters are bad dudes, and they get up and they're unbelievably loud. I had one protester, he sounded like Luciano Pavarotti. He had a voice, you wouldn't believe it. And then he starts swinging, and finally the people around him took him down, and it was, you know, too bad, but they had no choice. He was swinging, and the next day, the people that were really protecting other people got bad publicity, and the protester looks like he's a great hero. And he was totally at fault, and it's very unfair. But the police are really restrained because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to lose their pension. So they're afraid sometimes to do anything, even though they know what they should be doing.
On your screen right now, in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, there was a police officer who was injured last night at the event, you know, helping people, usher people out of the arena. You can see his head is bloodied there. How many people, Mr. Trump, are you expecting in Vandalia, Ohio today, which is a suburb of Dayton, Ohio? We see that we're looking live right now at that event. How many people do you expect will show up?
And by the way, that event's not starting for hours, and that's what happens. Every event I have, it's far more. We had 35,000 last week in Florida. I mean, the Florida events are unbelievable, and all of them. This is last night. We were able to get we would have had about 10,000 inside, and we were going to have 15,000 outside. We had screens set up outside. We would have at least 15,000 people outside in Chicago, and these are peaceful people. These are peaceful people, but they're tired of being taken advantage of. We're going to have thousands in Vandalia, Ohio. We're going to have thousands of people. I mean, you can see it. I'm watching you right now, and I'm looking at these massive lines. And these lines form 6, 7, 8 hours early sometimes.
Wow. And we hope that you have a great and peaceful event today. Mr. Trump, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.